Hello and welcome everyone. Our first session with Gorgias on the first event of the AutoMates series. After the initial event at the back of the June, we had a huge response from especially our customer base asking specific questions on the areas that we covered during that session. So we thought that it would be best to bring those guys again and deep dive into their expertise areas. So here today with the Chris from the Gorgias. Welcome again. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Tucker?
I'm good, thank you. I mean, I'm looking forward to learn more about the personalization, especially when it comes to the automation, because I am always, how can I say, a little bit intrigued with the bots and the experience they provide to the customers. So I would like to learn more about those.
Yeah, I'm really excited to share.
So please continue.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. I'll kick things off. So first of all, thanks so much to Precinct for putting on this great event. We participated back in June for the first AutoMates event, and that was a blast. A lot of great speakers there. And because automation is so important as it pertains to customer support and customer experience, it's something that we take seriously, and we're always looking to improve the level of automation that we afford to our tool. So I'm really excited today to be talking about what Gorgias is and how we make it easy to balance automation and personalization when it comes to customer experience. So I have a slide deck I'm going to be going through today, and if there's time at the end, I'll actually give you guys a glimpse into our product to show you a few features. Cool. I'm going to start off by setting the stage for just how significant and important customer experience is for modern D2C brands, what consumer expectations are nowadays, and then I'll jump into four actionable tips for you on how you can really incorporate automation into your customer experience platform. And so you can see a few key data points here on just how important customer engagement and support is for an e-commerce growth stack. And there's a few key numbers here that are related to just how important CX is when customers are looking to make a decision. Certainly a repeat purchase, that's going to have a huge influence. The second stat there, customers' expectations are higher than ever with respect to an immediate response. So we know as a consumer ourselves, if we're on a website and we have a question, certainly pre-purchase through a live chat, for instance, we expect an immediate response. If we don't get it, then we're likely just going to leave the website without making a purchase. So that's critical now more than ever. And then the third point here is around personalization. And so buyers are more likely to convert if you showcase some level of personalization. There's a lot of different ways that you could go about this. You could be using data layer tools like Justuno, for instance, that actually completely change the experience of the UI on your website as you're going through the purchasing cycle. But as it pertains to customer support, that really means leveraging the data and information you have about a customer while you're talking to them in real time. And so as I'll showcase later on today, with Gorgias, if I'm talking to someone on our website through live chat and they've already purchased with us before, I can see all of their recent order history. I can see any reviews that they've left, what their loyalty point status might be. And this makes it easy to leverage in the context of a conversation, because when consumers feel like you actually know who we are, it leads to huge conversion increases. So that's really important as well. And so to give a snapshot of the current state of consumer behaviors and consumer feelings towards brands and customer experience, by and large, they're pretty frustrated. Some of it's not necessarily the brand's fault. Obviously, there's a huge shift right now within shipping and fulfillment because e-commerce is on the rise. It's causing an increasing cost for fulfillment, and it's also causing a lot of delays in shipping. So only so much of this is in your control. But at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility to communicate with your customers in a timely fashion. And that's what this slide is about. It's showing two key metrics that any support platform or any brand should be tracking accurately. And those two key metrics are first contact time. So how long does it take for you to actually acknowledge an inquiry from a customer, either pre or post purchase? This could be as simple as saying, hey, we've received your inquiry or your question. We're going to get back to you as soon as possible. That's a really important metric, and you'd be surprised how big an impact that can have on conversion rates and on your retention rates. And then resolution time is how long does it actually take to solve the inquiry at hand. So if someone says, I'd like to edit my my delivery address, the resolution time would be how long does it actually take for you to solve that specific question asked by that customer. And because a lot of brands are struggling in both of these areas, you're seeing brands with, greater than 12-hour first contact time, which is not great. It really depends on the brand, but that's typically not great. And then 18 plus hour resolution times. And so these are numbers that are okay, but certainly are gonna, as you start to creep up beyond those numbers, you're gonna have a huge impact on conversion rates and retention. So we wanna try to get those numbers down. And so obviously your customers are paying the price, but also merchants themselves are paying the price. So if you have slow response times, it means that you're obviously missing out on a lot of sales opportunities. You're probably going to have to staff up on your agent team, which can be expensive as you increase your headcount. Lack of personalization is also going to have a big impact on sales as well, because as I showed you before, that's really helpful to drive conversions by leveraging the information and insights you have on customers. And then the silo data piece. And so this is huge. And so the silo data could come from a lack of integration across communication channels. And what I mean by that is nowadays, you don't just talk to customers over the phone or maybe through some clunky contact live chat like you might have 20 years ago. Nowadays, a customer can engage with you on a Monday through live chat, on a Tuesday through phone, on a Wednesday through Instagram DMs, and on a Friday they come in on an Instagram post or a Facebook post. And so it's important that you recognize that same customer as a single customer when you're communicating with them, and you're not treating them as disparate people, because they're going to know that. They're going to be like, why don't they know that I'm the same person who commented on the other day, and then I called in, and then I messaged in through live chat. So having that data be siloed and not integrated with one another is a big missed opportunity. And so that's ultimately the challenges that brands are facing now, is being able to level up their automation to go faster and deliver efficient experiences, but also leveraging that data to deliver personalized experiences. And that's the main thesis of what we're going to talk about today with Gorgias. So now to introduce Gorgias. So we're the number one rated help desk, specifically on Shopify, built for e-commerce brands. And the simplest way I can describe us is we're an agent-powered help desk, meaning there's an actual human being using our software on a day-to-day basis. Certainly is a heavy level of automation baked into our platform with some AI, but by and large, we're an agent-powered help desk used by over 20,000 support agents a day, trusted by over 7,000 brands, and over 1 million consumers a year. 10 million consumers a year actually benefit from brands who use us as their platform. We started back in 2015. We've since scaled to 7,000 plus customers. And really, the main use cases is we integrate all the main communication channels that you could possibly have in interacting with your customers. So as you can see here, whether it's voice, through phone, or like a VoIP provider like AirCall, chat, email, SMS, Facebook, and Instagram channels, doesn't matter how a customer is going to interact with your brand, we're going to pull that in. We're going to attach all the customer data that you have, say through your Shopify account, and we're going to put that on display as an agent. So if once I go into a conversation with someone to talk to them as a customer, I have so much context and information at my fingertips, making it, you really have no excuse but to answer questions in a super expedient manner. And really, you can see our main mission statement here, which is to help our brands deliver exceptional customer experiences across the entire customer lifecycle, which includes obviously pre and post purchase. All right, so I have 4 major tips that I'm going to share with you today, and then if there's time, as I said, we're going to actually jump into our product, and I'll show you a few cool things. And so the first tip that I can share, and I can't stress how important this one is to understand what your typical support volume looks like. And so you might have a sense of, okay, I get 100 plus inquiries a day or 20 plus inquiries a day. That's fine to know. You should certainly know that number. But you should also know, okay, what's the breakdown of those inquiries, those 100 inquiries a day, for instance. And so what we've done is we've analyzed over 10,000 tickets that our customers have had, and we've categorized them by question type to help us understand, okay, what are our customers getting bogged down with the most, and how can we basically wipe away that percentage of their volume so they can focus on more important things. So I'm going to walk you through it. It's a little bit of a busy slide, but we're going to go through it in pieces. So what you can see here is the breakdown of those 10,000 tickets. So you can understand this to be, a pretty typical D2C brand support volume. So 1/3 of their entire volume is strictly related to order status. So this is someone saying, hey, where's my order? Which is fine. The problem is, this is a very repetitive task that doesn't have a huge impact on churn. And obviously there's no conversion opportunity if they've already made the purchase. And this, coupled with other questions like order cancellations, refund requests, and unsubscribes, these are things that you should not be doing and answering manually. Certainly as you start to scale, So you can see here, these percentage points add up to 41% of your entire support volume should and can be automated completely. And I'll show you how significant that can be. So one way that we do that, for instance, is we've launched a self-serve portal. So this is a widget that appears on your website. You can put it at the bottom right of your website. And what this does is, as a customer, I can log in, or sorry, I can just go on a brand's website. I'll be prompted with this. An example of one of our customers that has this is hellotushy.com. They're a great bidet company. And what happens is this prompt will come up. It'll say, hey, how can we help? And by putting in my email and order ID, I can take the following actions. I can track an order, I can return an order, cancel an order, or report an issue with an order. And I just showed you on the previous slide that takes up about 40% of your entire support volume. So those are agents on your team that have to take a lot of time going into Shopify, going into Amazon, going into whatever account you have to pull that information to give it to the customer. That's super manual. It takes forever. You're going to make mistakes. Customers are going to be upset. And your first response time and resolution times are obviously going to go up big time. And so this is so powerful because now you're giving the power to the customers themselves to get the information that they need, which it doesn't automate that percentage of volume. It actually just avoids it altogether. It's completely deflecting the 30 to 40% of your entire support volume. And why that's so significant, and sorry, I should say, in this instance, you can, if none of these answers or options are satisfactory for you, you can easily hit start conversation and it will quickly flip over to a live chat so you can talk to a real agent. Just wanted to highlight that. But what's so significant about deflecting 30 to 40% of that support volume is now, once we wipe away those other categories that I told you that you should be automating, what we're left with is actually pre-sale opportunities that are actually inside your support volume. You may not know it. So let's take a look here. You have product availability, 4%, product suggestion, product question, and pre-order question, 3%. So this is 13% of your support volume, which you would translate as post-purchase, is actually pre-purchase. So this is a huge opportunity for you to convert these into paying customers. And as an example, smaller brands are doing less than 1,000 tickets a month, probably 200 to 300. But as you start to get to 1,000, 10,000, and 25,000 tickets plus per month, this 13% of your support volume starts to add up big time to pre-purchase opportunities. That if you're spending way too much time on monotonous things like order status, refund requests, unsubscribes, you don't have sufficient bandwidth to focus on these most pressing pre-sale opportunities. You certainly won't be able to get to them fast enough to actually convert them. And so that's the big takeaway for tip number one, is understand your support volume, identify opportunities for you to automate repetitive tasks that really don't have a big impact, and then focus on the pre-sale questions that really can move the needle for you in terms of revenue. So that's a huge tip. And so tip number two, it's kind of a general, and it certainly matches up with the theme, but really putting a premium on speed and automation, really throwing gasoline on that. So I talked about a key metric we track, and any good brand should track, which is response time. So how long it actually takes for you to get in touch with your customer, let them know that you're working on their issue. We've gamified this approach internally with all of our 7,000 plus D2C brands who use Gorgias, putting them in categories from level 1 to level 5. There's a little bit more to it, and I'll show you that at the end. But a simple way to put them into these cohorts is based on the response time that they offer. Level 5 being exceptional is if you're able to have a sub 10-minute response time, which may sound crazy for you right now, and I totally get that. But hopefully, as you start to use a tool like Gorgias or build something out custom, you're going to be able to start to achieve these numbers. And this is really, the Amazon gold standard. They deliver exceptionally fast response times. And so this is where we're trying to get our customers to right now. And the name of the game is to keep improving our product features to make it easier for brands to do this and educate them on why it's so significant. And a good way to convey just how significant it is we find that when you have a first response time of less than 10 minutes for a pre-sale opportunity, whether it's live chat or you're talking to them through SMS, which we make possible, the conversion rates go up from, say, 2 to 7% as an industry standard up to 28 to 35%. And we know this because when customers, and you probably relate as a consumer yourselves, if you're on someone's website and you engage, say, with a live chat or you're texting back and forth with them, you have a high intent to purchase, right? It's a very strong touch point. This isn't top of funnel, surface level stuff. This is like, I'm on your website. I'm looking to make a purchase. I have questions. If you answer me fast enough, I'll probably make a purchase. If not, I'm long gone. So less than 10 minutes honestly, it should be less than 2 minutes, or you should aim for less than 2 minutes. And I'll show you an example in a second of how big an impact one of our brands was able to achieve using this. And so I said, okay, put a premium on speed and automation. How do we actually make this possible using our platform? So I have 3 key use cases or features to highlight that make it easy to do this. So one is live chat. So I've kind of teased this a bit. And so, we have a great live chat. How this works is it just a little widget that pops up on your website. A customer can engage with it. You can have it set it up so it's 24/5. That's what a lot of brands will do. Ideally, you do want to get to a point where you have 24/7 as you start to scale and as you start to operate in international markets, and timing will be a factor. But yeah, by and large, a customer will message you in. You, as an agent, I'm going to have all of that beautiful context, all the order information, everything I need to know, canned responses. I can respond really quickly, and so that makes it easy to answer questions lightning quick. That canned responses that I just mentioned, we call those macros, and it's a pretty typical phrase in customer support. So these are canned responses or email templates, but it's more powerful than just an email template, which a lot of us use for our work purposes through Gmail, for instance. Instead of just having the text available to embed, what you can also embed is actual data variables from various tools that we integrate with. So Shopify is a good example. So we have a deep integration with Shopify. So all those data points that were being pulled in through our integration with Shopify, we can embed these variables into the email template, such as customer first name, order number, tracking number, shipping address, etc. So the moment I hit send on this, it'll go retrieve all of these data points, populate that into the message, and then send it to the customer and then close the ticket. So that's a great way to, all you really need to do is build this email copy once. And then every single time a question comes up around where's my order, you can just simply hit send and it will take care of the rest for you. So no more switching tabs and going into Shopify, for instance. So this is a nice manual way of doing it. Obviously, there's some speed here as well because all these variables are being automatically retrieved from the macro, but still that's not, sufficiently fast. And so how we can really put that on, on the burners in terms of speeding things up is through our rules. So rules are a series of if statements. So if this happens, then take this action. It's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly customizable and modular. And so I have a simple example here. So imagine if someone on your Gorgias chat, so it looks like the Gorgias bot is here. So maybe this is after hours. So again, maybe it's a weekend request. This person's saying, hey, can you tell me where my order is? What's happening in the back end inside of Gorgias is the rules is saying, okay, when a ticket is created, which would happen if this person messaged this inquiry, and if the message contains any of where is my order or some facsimile thereof, then reply with this specific macro, which could be this one, for instance. And so this is an easy way to, again, automate up to 20 to 30% of your volume, which, as I showed you earlier, is strictly related to order status. And so, as I said, the rules are completely customizable. You can even set cadence delay. So it's like, if this happens, wait an hour, then respond. You can do a lot with these rules. And so to drive home the point again of just why it's so significant to be fast, both with respect to first response times and resolution times, here's a screenshot of our revenue dashboard, and I'll show you that in more depth later on, of a customer of ours a few years ago where they had this great campaign. They drove a ton of traffic to their website. And what they did is they had their support team inside of Gorgias ready to rock and roll through live chat. And they were having a first response time. So customers were asked, or potential customers were asking them questions on their website and through live chat. And they were able to respond within 2 minutes, 8 seconds and resolve questions within 20 minutes. And so, which is phenomenal. As I said, under that 10-minute mark is key. And they're able to drive $22,000 in sales that day, just a single day, as you can see, right after the BFCM, just through this live chat campaign. And so this just is a good proof of principle of, look, like being fast is one of the most important things when it comes to people interacting with your website, for instance. Alrighty, so tip number 3, this is around consolidating your social media engagement. And so as a brand, you're going to start off, maybe just selling on your website, and then you're going to start to build your social media presence, maybe even selling on social media channels, but you're certainly running advertisements on these channels. And so the problem is a lot of brands will run these beautiful campaigns. They're obviously spending a ton of money on it because it's expensive nowadays. And, you're really just relying on them converting through the campaign itself. But what you'll often find, a lot of brands will find, is you'll actually have a lot of people who will engage with your social media through DMs. So they'll have questions or they'll comment on posts. They're not quite ready to convert yet because they have some questions. And a lot of those brands are just missing those opportunities. They're not responding at all, or certainly not fast enough. And the challenge there is you're not consolidating these communication channels. And what I mean by that is the people on your, for a brand who are potentially running your marketing campaigns, those are the marketing team. And so when this flood, this influx of pre-purchase or post-purchase questions flood in, the marketing team's like, look, like I'm not set up to answer those questions. Don't look at me. And that's what's so great about Gorgias, is because it doesn't matter what channel a customer or potential customer interacts with your brand, whether they're commenting on a post, DMing you directly, email, etc. We're going to pull all of those conversations in, standardize that view, and then now your agents, who are your real product experts, they can take care of those inquiries, freeing up the bandwidth for your marketing team to do what they do best. And so here's an example of our UI. You can see all the tickets that are coming in here. You can see which agent they're assigned to. And importantly, you can see which channel the ticket came in through. So email, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, and then live chat at the bottom. And so it doesn't matter to us which channel it comes in. We're still going to make it look the exact same, which it's great for, as a brand, as an operator, you don't have to worry about giving access to every agent, to every tool you're possibly using. They don't need access to your Facebook, so, Twitter, etc. It's all just going to get pulled in here, making it real easy to get back to them as soon as possible. And then the final tip is to make sure that your tech stack specifically, is fully integrated. And so if, a lot of us are, the average brand is using, anywhere between 8 to 15 different apps and integrations, certainly if you're in the Shopify ecosystem. And so it's really important that you have these tools integrated with one another, meaning what happens in platform or tool A is going to be reflected in platform or tool B. Data is being shared to and from. And really what's great about that is when you start plugging in all these apps, it affords a lot of new use cases, which gives rise to even more powerful product. And so with Gorgias specifically, natively, we're a great product. We're proud of what we've built. But once you start factoring in these 50 plus apps that plug into our product, it really transforms it into something more powerful. So categories like email, SMS, mobile, loyalty programs, rewards, return subscriptions. We don't offer a lot of these features natively, but because we have such a deep integration network, now all of a sudden we have a lot of new use cases and data being shared inside of our platform. So here's just a snapshot of some of our integrations that we have across those different categories that I mentioned. And as I said, plugging these in gives us even more data and context with our customers, but it also gives us the ability to take actions that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. So a simple one with subscriptions. If you're a subscription-based business, maybe you're using Recharge and a customer says, hey, I need to skip a cycle because I'm going to be out of town, or I want to cancel my subscription. Now we can detect that in Gorgias, so we can honestly just automatically take care of that for you. And so that's just a simple example. And so it's important that you continue to put pressure on these vendors that you're working with, some of which may be on this slide, to say, hey, look, I need you to be more integrated with the other tools that I'm using, because it really is a big benefit for me from a customer satisfaction standpoint. And then the final thing I wanted to finish up here, and I've kind of been building towards this, is this idea that, look, we're trying to gamify this support performance with our 7,000 plus customers and really educate people, customer or not, on what exceptional CX looks like in today's standards for modern D2C brands. And so we have these 5 tiers, level 5 being what we consider exceptional customer experience, kind of the Amazon standard. And here are the key metrics and impact drivers that we deem essential for achieving the exceptional status. So we've talked a lot about first response time and resolution time. So we find that brands who are solving problems within an hour and then getting back to customers for a first response time of 15 to 20 minutes, that's a key indicator that you're delivering exceptional experience. In terms of impact drivers, you should be automating close to 30% or higher of all of your ticket volume. And I've talked a lot about how you can achieve that and why it's so significant to do so. You should be communicating and consolidating over 8+ channels of communication. And I've talked about those: email, live chat, phone, SMS, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, etc. Those should not be being managed in disparate ways by disparate teams. Those should be completely integrated and consolidated into a single view or platform like Gorgias. And then integrations, I've stressed the importance of that. Your tools can't be working in silo. You need to make sure that they're integrated. I can't stress that enough. And I imagine that any brands that might be tuning in, you might be saying, crap, I'm a level 1, level 2, maybe a level 3. How the hell am I supposed to get to that? Whether you use a tool like Gorgias or not, the key is to understand what aspects of my business am I struggling with the most as it pertains to customer support. what areas could I benefit from, splicing in some level of automation, and just start there. And you should have a deep understanding of how customer experience is impacting your churn rates. So obviously, if you have super long response times, you got to get on top of that. And then you should also understand, okay, why aren't we converting more? Maybe it's because it's taking us too long to have first response time. So whether you use Gorgias or not, you should have a thorough understanding of how customers interact with your brand and how you respond to them and what time frame, and then go from there in terms of making improvements. And then the last thing I wanted to showcase, which is a nice tool that we made publicly available, is we have this new customer support benchmarking tool. So if you go to gorgias.com/benchmark dash customer dash service, we have this great tool. All you need to do is put in your email and then select which industry you're in, and it's going to give you a report on what a brand in that category who's using Gorgias, what are their numbers look like. And so what I've done here is I put in fashion and apparel. And so what this is doing is it's showing the key support metrics in ticket distribution per channel for all fashion and apparel brands who are using Gorgias. And so this is a really good way of being transparent with the public, and it's a great way for you to see how you stack up to a typical customer using Gorgias. Because if you're a fashion or apparel brand and you're not using Gorgias and your times are way longer than these and your CSAT score is way lower than this, then that's a pretty good selling point to maybe check out Gorgias. So you can see here, first response time 9 hours, so this would probably be level 3. Resolution time 21 hours, that's more closer to level 2, level 1. CSAT score is great though, which is awesome. And typically fashion apparel brands have longer times for these just because of the volume and the amount of SKUs you have. You can see how that stacks up against other key industries as well. And what's really cool is we also show the average ticket distribution per channel. So you can see email is by and large the most heavy communication channel. Social is 21%, and live chat is 7%. So you can see how this stacks up with yours, and you can take a lot away from that. So I just wanted to highlight that. You check it out. Wrapping up, obviously we're proud to have the customer base that we have, big and small, D2C and some B2B brands as well. And obviously, if you're interested, we'd be happy to speak with you anytime. We do have special offer for pre-sync customers, and so we can get you a second and third month free if you sign up for the first free month, which is all the time you'd need to see the ROI for a tool like Gorgias. And with that, I just want to thank the organizers and for having me, and yeah, really excited to chat and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Chris. It was wonderful. I'm truly excited, and there's something that I would like to learn more. Maybe our customers are wondering that as well. How long would it take for a regular customer to, let's say, decide to use Gorgias and onboard the whole process and start using in the daily activities of their customer service?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question. So it's certainly dependent on what the size of the merchant is if you're specifically your ticket volume. So if you're doing under 1,000 tickets a month, then honestly you can get onboarded and set up within the matter of a couple of days. If you're a bigger brand like the Steve Maddens of the world and you're doing 50,000+ tickets a month, then it will probably be a 2-week process. If you're using an existing help desk and you're migrating over, we have a full migration tool where we'll import the last 2 years of historical ticket data from your previous help desk. And then we'll also assign you a designated customer success manager who will set up probably 3 to 4 meetings over the first few weeks, understand how you want to use the tool for your brand based on your messaging. They'll build all your custom views. They'll help you build out your macros and automation features. So 2 weeks if you're a really large brand, and a matter of a
Mhm.
few days if you're on the smaller side.
Wonderful. And also, it can be a little bit of a commitment to switch customer service platform. So, is there any, like a program that you can offer, let's say, 2 months trial for the selected customer base, use and try to, understand the improvement. And if you are convinced, you can switch, or it's just, you switch and that's all. You decide to go back. We do all the things again.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're so committed to conveying the value that Gorgias has that we actually offer to buy out the existing contract if you're working with another help desk. So if you're another solution and you want to switch to Gorgias, but you're like, crap, I'm locked in for the next 5 months, then we're happy to just buy out that contract because we know the lifetime value of our customers is so high, and we really want to convey how serious we are. And that's in addition to the second and third month trial that we do offer as well. And so we make it really easy for you to say yes, and we make it very difficult for you to want to leave because we're so committed to our customers.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for coming today. Please tune in for the coming sessions on the AutoMates. We will be discussing the other areas of the e-commerce automation. And at the end of the October, we will be discussing Black Friday and the Cyber Monday discounts and how you can increase the profitability of your store through our automation systems and our partners' automation systems. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye.